Hi, this is Professor Jose Mendoza. I wanted to record this video just to give you some help on how to start your first group project. So this group project will be on the Titanic dataset. I think it's a fun and exciting project to practice what we have covered so far about predictive analytics. So this is the way to start. So first, you will get the two files, the Titanic train and Titanic test from Brightspace, and we need to upload them to SAS Viya for learners. Be mindful that we only need one person making a submission. In other words, you will work as a group. So not every student need to do this. Just one per group. So first and foremost, go to the hamburger, and then we're gonna go to develop SAS code. You probably remember this on how to upload a CSV file onto SAS Viya. So now in your CAS user file, if you're not in your CAS user directory, you're gonna go to the Explorer. This is the second icon from the top. Then this is gonna be your server name. Everybody will probably have a different server name. Some students might have the same. So then I will go to the folder called CAS user. I will right click and click upload files. So there are two files I want you to upload. So it's gonna be this one, Titanic test and Titanic train. So as part of the assignment, you will explore the files too. So you probably remember how it is. So let me open the CAS user folder, and you will see here I have the two different CSV files. So you will go to explore and visualize and explore, the two files in the same way as we did during class time. So here are the data sources, CAS user, and they're over here. Okay. So you will do this in order to explore. This is the train, the one that you're going to use for train. This is the test. That's the one that you will use for the predictions. So now, how will you start your model? So number one, let's go to the to the build models function in SAS Viya for learners, and I'm gonna create a new project. Just remember that only one student need to do this for the group. So we'll start a new project. I will call this Titanic assignment. And I will put here binary, and I will explain that. I'll explain why later. I will use the data. I forgot something to tell you, that when you go to the data sources, we need to activate the two different files. So let me show you how it works. So I will get Titanic test, and you might remember to click the Thunderbolt sign. So you will pick the file that has the upper cases, as you can see here, Titanic test. And I will do the same for Titanic train. Make sure you click the Thunderbolt, because otherwise you won't be able to work with this file, right? So this is the file I want to use. Yeah, that's perfect. If you don't do that, then you won't be able to run the exercise, okay? So I want to open data mining and learning. Then the file will be called Titanic train in upper cases. Here in the advanced tab, you can you want a different split. I have so far 60% for training, 30% for validation, and 10% for test. You want to change it, this is the time to change it. So some people will do 60, 20, and 20. You pick your percentage if you want to change it. Otherwise, you will be working with the default values, and the default values are okay, just in case you want to keep exploring and try a different value. So now here is the file. The thing I have to remember is I have to pick the first, I had to pick the target. So the target will be survive it. So now this will be changed to target. If you don't do this step, you won't be able to start working on this. Now, you might remember that I put the name Titanic assignment binary. This is because if I want to use a logistic regression, I want to use a neural network, or I want to use a decision tree, I have to set this to binary. If you're going to use a linear regression, you have to make sure to do this as an interval. I will do that. I will do that in another step. Okay. So okay. So now I will go to the pipelines, and you will notice that I have my first data point here. Let me call this Titanic. This is what is called a model. So now you're building a model here. So I will run. Well, I will add a child node, and this is going to be, I'm going to start with logistic regression. I will pick just the first of the logistic regression that shows up. And then this is like ready to run. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another one. Now I'm doing this kind of in a rush because I just want to show you how to start the project. Ideally, you will probably have, explore the different columns, find out if all the columns will be relevant for your project, do any transformation before starting to work on this. It might not be just drag and drop as I'm doing this, right? So I'm running 3 different models at the same time, and I'm gonna run this. You might remember that we did this very same step using SAS Viya for learners, but we did this with a linear regression. We did linear regression, we did a neural network, and I think we also did a decision tree as well. But the difference is that at that time, the target was not binary, was an interval. And you might remember the differences. If you have an interval, that will be the one chapter in one session in our class. If you do a binary, that will be called a classification task. So that was another class. So now I'm going to run this. Remember that I want to see the results. You might remember that this might be different depending on the type of column that you have used and where you have different transformation. So I have here a decision tree that was the champion. Here is a misclassification rate. You might remember that we don't have an error when we do classification tasks. We have a misclassification rate or an area under the curve. So this one, the decision tree was more efficient for this particular project. So now that I know this, I will do my predictions. So I will right click on the winner, on the champion, and I will create a score data. This is the one that is going to make the predictions. It's just easier to just focus on the model that was the champion and not to do this with every model that you have available. So now I need to tell here in the score data what is the table that contains the predictions. So that's when I'm going to start using my test for the Titanic. This one, the one in upper cases, right? It's not the one in lower cases, because that will give you an error. The library will be your library, your folder. This one, that will be your folder, the folder with your name on it. And the table name will be whatever name you want to pick. So I'm going to call this Titanic predictions. So now I suggest that you click replace existing table the second time that you run this, because otherwise you will get an error if this file exists. So now I'm going to run this. I will just run the score data. That will just submit the predictions. Can you use more models? Yes, you can. You can explore if you want or the other predictive models that are available in SAS Viya. So now it ran very quickly. So now let me see the results. It also created a file. I'm gonna show you where the file is located at. So this is the output data. Let me view the output data. And you might remember that we also did this, right? So this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to show all the rows, and that's because I have a very small data set. And the test file is actually very small. So 100% of them is not a big deal. It's not a lot of data. And we're using SAS Viya for Learner here, so we can like kind of close the circle since we use Excel in the last time that we did a classification. So this is what it says, here are my predictions, here are the predictions, actually they are on the right hand side. These are the predictions, yeah, whether the person survived or not. And also, you can go to your explore and visualize, and you will see a file called Titanic. So let me close this, and let me show you what are you going to do if you are going to use a linear regression. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time. So I'm going to call this Titanic assignment, and I will put this categorical, just because I'm using a different. I'm going to use the same survived data set, but this time it's going to be a categorical variable. It won't be a binary. As you can see, the same. And remember, you can change the partitions and put a different split, 60% for training and maybe a little bit more if you want to for validation or for test. That will be up to you. That's actually part of the assignment. So now this is your target. Remember, survival is your target, and your level. This time I'm going to put an interval. Yeah. So it's quite important that I do that, because otherwise your linear regression is not going to run. Child node. So now I'm going to put linear regression here. And you can put anything else that you want to. You have a bunch of different models here. You have a decision tree, you have random forest. You might remember that we saw these. Gradient boosting, you have neural networks. So you have other models to try as well. So I'm going to run this just very quickly so you see how it runs. And you can also do the score for this linear regression as well. So the challenge that you will find in the assignment is, is to number one, make your predictions. What is going to be your best prediction? Bring your best prediction and explain the rationale. Which model do you use? Which model was the best model? What data transformation you made? That's very important, So now let me click results. Of course, you only have this one because this is the only one. By the way, I forgot this. When you click the model that you win, you get the information. The errors. Okay, perfect. So now I can also do the scoring here. Sorry, sometimes miscellaneous score data. Yeah. And here you might have to remember that the table is called test. Can you try with a different sample of data? Yes, you can. You have to remember that you import your CSV file and then you click the Thunderbolt. That's when you bring the data into your library, and the results goes in your library, the one with your name. Here I'm going to call this Titanic prediction. I'll call this linear, but you can have as many files as you want. This is the first time I'm running this file, so I'm sure it's not going to be duplicated or existing. I will run this and you will see your results. You might remember that you can also export the resulting file. Click results. This is your output data. I'm going to do, remember, 100% of the rows because this is a very small data set. and there is no problem with looking at all the table at once. It's not a big file. So here you have the same predictions that are right here on the right hand side. Yeah. But you have to find out which one is the best model, because that's what assignment is about. And finally, I will go to explore and visualize. I will start with data. And here you will see in your folder, you will see here are the predictions, you see? These are the first predictions. These are the one for the second one that we've done. Yeah, this is the same. So you can visualize it. You can also export it, you know, to your computer as well. If you prefer to use a different format, you can use. Let me click on one of these. Just I have to remember that you have to click the Thunderbolt sign before you use the file, right? Right here. Here is you see the visualization that I have. Yeah. So I can, for example, use this is the probability, predicted survival one. So I can use this, for example. So you can do an histogram. That will be up to you. And if you go to develop SAS code to the Explorer, you will see the file here with the prediction. See? So you can download it to your computer and work this with a different file. So I hope that you will enjoy this assignment. It's not difficult in the sense, it's not technically difficult. It just requires a lot of understanding on the data that you're using, the model that you're using. So this is what it is about. So it's a fun exercise anyway. So if you have questions, and also finally remember that there is just one submission per group. Only one person in your group need to make a submission. Okay. So thank you so much. Bye bye.